Well, Friday the 13th of March 2026 is a very lucky day for us Doctor Who fans, especially us classic Who fans and us fans who love 60s Doctor Who, because it was announced today that two episodes of the missing classic William Hartnell story, The Daleks Masterplan, which is celebrating its 60th anniversary since it aired between November 1965 and January 1966. It's been announced today that two episodes from it have been found, which is amazing news. It's funny because you sort of, if you're into missing episodes like I am and into Classic Who, and you just long for more episodes to be found of the previously 97 missing episodes, now we can say it's 95 missing episodes, which is great to say. But you think about it so much about that moment, a discovery is announced and then it just comes out of the blue. So I'd only just woken up, just getting out of bed, scrolling through my phone, and then I saw the official announcement. So I wasn't in the ideal situation for to see that announcement, but it's safe to say that announcement woke me up. So yeah, looking at the official announcement, as I say, it's two episodes. So the story is 12 parts long, and before this announcement, we had three episodes of the story. So we had a good spread of the story. We had, an episode that's early in the story, one that's in the middle, and one that's towards the end. So we had a good spread of the story, which gave us kind of an idea of how the story flowed, because obviously it's a very long story. Two of those episodes we basically always had in the archives. I believe it was episode 5 and 10, and then in 2004, around then, episode 2 was found, and then 22 years later, we get the announcement that part 1 and 3 have been found. So it's been a long journey with this story, but obviously we still are missing 7 of the episodes. But it's amazing to have 5 episodes back now of the story. So the episodes that have been found are part 1, The Nightmare Begins, and part 3, Devil's Planet. So that gives us 4 out of 5 of the opening 5 episodes now, which is amazing. So we have The Nightmare Begins, Day of Armageddon, Devil's Planet, and Counterplot, which is part 5. So it's just The Traitors, which is part 4, which is still missing of those first 5 episodes. When I first saw the announcement, it doesn't say in the initial announcement what the episodes are until you actually look at the article. So I was thinking, well, one of them's definitely part 4, The Traitors, because that's one that's often said by, missing episode experts. That's one that's often said that one's relatively likely, because that was one of the episodes that Blue Peter borrowed to show a clip from it, along with the likes of 10 Planet Part 4. Neither of those episodes have come up in this discovery, so I was kind of a little bit surprised that Part 4 wasn't one of them. But obviously amazing to get Part 1, and yeah, amazing to get Part 3 as well. So yeah, this story kind of, in many ways, kind of summarizes the paradox of missing Doctor Who episodes, because on the one hand, it's, smack bang in the middle of Dalek Mania in the 60s. It's the Daleks at their height. It's an iconic, epic story. So you'd think, oh, well, we would definitely have this story, at least we would have most of it in existence. But we don't, because only one copy of Masterplan was ever made for overseas sales. A copy was made, I believe, in the early 70s, around there, late 60s, early 70s. A copy was made for broadcast in Australia. That is the only copy that was ever made of Masterplan from the original recording. So these episodes will likely be from that Australian batch. It's worth saying as well now that this recovery was done by the charity Film is Fabulous. If you've been following the news that they announced, over the last few months, that they received charitable status and they're open to donations now. So please check out their website and consider donating to them. Obviously, they're not affiliated with me or anything. I'm just a Doctor Who fan who's really appreciative of what they've done and what they are doing. So if you're interested in donating to them or learning more about them, then please check out their stuff, and I can leave a link to their website in the description below. But so yeah, massive thanks to them. So they announced a few months ago that they were aware of a collection which has at least one missing Doctor Who episode in it, possibly more. And they had to go through some legal hoops to gain access to the collection because the collector had passed away. So without knowing the full details at this stage, I'm assuming these episodes have come from that collection because they have gained a few collections in recent months. Um, so yeah, massive thanks to them again for the work that they've done and are doing. It's amazing. They don't just focus on Doctor Who; they focus on just missing television and film in general, and they're doing amazing work. So thank you to them. But yeah, so only one copy was ever made of Masterplan. So even though it's this massive story in terms of like in like culturally, like in terms of its stature in the show, and also in terms of the length of the story. Despite that, only one copy was ever made. So on one hand, it's very likely episodes would exist. On the other hand, it's not so likely. So yeah, this story is one of those ones that really sums up the kind of paradox of missing episodes that they really shouldn't exist, but they do. Um, but um, one episode of this story, so it's part 7, I believe, The Feast of Stephen, which was the first ever Christmas episode of Doctor Who, basically. It's the first one that aired on Christmas Day, so the 25th of December, 1965. It, I believe, is the only missing episode of 60s Who that 100% cannot come back because no copy was ever made of it. So in that Australian copy of the story, which I was mentioning before, the Feast of Stephen was not included in that because it's a Christmas episode, and obviously, if they weren't going to air it around Christmas, they wouldn't want a Christmas episode. So, in that batch of episodes, which included the Daleks Masterplan, the Feast of Stephen was not included in that, so no copy was ever made, and the original copy was destroyed. So, if that is the case, that the original copy was destroyed and no copy was made, that episode cannot come back. So that's a shame, but that's something we've known for a long time. But yes, for those who know anything about that episode, it is a weird episode. It's not really anything to do with the main plot, and it is just a strange episode where the Doctor breaks the fourth wall and wishes everyone a Merry Christmas, and it's yeah. So I don't think we lose sleep at night knowing that episode can't come back because it's not really anything to do with the Daleks Master Plan, but it is obviously still a shame. We would rather have that episode back and everything else back, of course. But yes, that episode, basically, we can expect that episode to never come back. But the other episodes in this story, some of them could still be out there because that's 2 more of them that have showed up now. So that's just amazing. So yeah, we have a really good like chunk now of the first half of the story, basically nearly all of it of the first half, which the first half was written by Terry Nation. So that's several more Terry Nation Doctor Who episodes returned, which is amazing. And then the rest of the story after the Feast of Stephen, as well as part 6 as well. But so part 6 and then part 8 through 12 were written by Dennis Spooner, but parts 1 through 5 and then part 7 were written by Terry Nation. So it was split between them. Directed by the legend Douglas Camfield, one of the best directors in Doctor Who history. Just amazing. So we have more Douglas Camfield directed Doctor Who. Amazing. So yeah, this was honestly one of the best things it could have been. Because when Film Was Fabulous first sort of said, well, we know of missing episodes, and we hope to acquire them soon. Obviously, the debate then starts with what are the episodes. There's some that are more likely than others, as I say. So yeah, on the scale of likelihood of missing episode returns, you've got the likes of the Feast of Stephen, which I've mentioned before, which are on the far end of unlikely, basically impossible to return. But on the more likely end of the scale, you have stuff like certain episodes of the Dark Master Plan, which are more likely. Obviously, the chances of any missing episodes being returned are very slim. Like the odds are against, decades old, 50 to 60, now year old prints surviving. But they still do turn up and there will be more episodes out there. But yeah, because and I was saying to people in my private life, like one of my best friends who's a massive Classic Who fan like myself, and also my girlfriend as well, when I was talking to them in my private life, I was saying like, um, any missing episode returns are gonna generate hype. So Film is Fabulous will be hyping this up regardless. But the way they're hyping it up suggests to me that it is quite a significant episode or episodes which have been found. Probably episodes that, are either part of a popular historical like Marco Polo or Mythmakers or The Massacre, but more likely feature Cybermen or Daleks. If they feature Cybermen, it's likely to be The 10th Planet Part 4, which is another episode that Blue Peter borrowed, and then the episode went missing. Obviously, for those who know, The 10th Planet Part 4 is William Hartnell's final episode as the Doctor. So it features the first regeneration. So it's obviously a very, very significant episode that's missing. But thanks to Blue Peter, we do have the original regeneration scene. So we do have that, even though we don't have the episode that it's from. So I thought, that one's quite likely. Or something from the Daleks Masterplan. I have watched the previously only existing episodes from this story, episodes 2, 5, and 10, absolutely years ago. You're talking 15 plus years ago. On the Lost in Time box set, but I haven't watched them in years, so it'd be great to watch all the existing episodes we have for this story now. I also think that this announcement has made it more likely that we will get an animation of the Daleks Masterplan in the coming years, because now we have a couple more episodes, so we now have 5 episodes out of the 12. So obviously with the more recent animations they've been doing, well, for the last decade now, since Power of the Daleks in 2016, that initial animation, that was the first time they fully animated a missing story, whereas before that, they just would animate the odd episode here and there in stories that overall existed, but just were missing one or two. They would just plug those gaps. But then, obviously, with the Power of the Daleks, they moved to like animating a full story. And there's been some cases where they've even animated existing episodes. So, like something like The Evil of the Daleks, where it's a 7-parter and we only have part 2. They they animated part 2 as well as the rest of it, so it all, I understand why they do it, so it's all like in the same format for people, and they do include obviously the existing episode on iPlayer and on the physical media releases. We've known for years that Daleks Masterplan would be very difficult to animate just because of the length of the story and all the characters and different sets and places. It really, the amount of sets they would have to recreate, the amount of characters they'd have to recreate in different locations, it would be very costly. But I've always thought that's true, but it's the Daleks master plan, so I think they'll find a way. And I think these episodes being found makes that more likely. Not guaranteed, obviously, because it is still an absolute beast to animate. They still would have to animate 7 episodes. So for me, they should probably take the approach of plug the gaps, don't reanimate everything, because you have 5 episodes now, so don't reanimate those 5 episodes. Just edit them in with the animation. And even if it makes it more cost effective, just get rid of the Feast of Stephen in the story. Just don't have it, because it's not really that relevant to the story. Obviously, in an ideal world, we would have that animated too, and you could animate that separately at some point as a little fun thing for Christmas one year or something. Because it's just it doesn't really belong in the story anyway. So if you take that out, that then leaves you 6 more episodes to animate. 7 if you include Mission to the Unknown, which is the 1-part prequel to it, basically, which students at UCLan University recreated back in, I want to say, 2019. So if the BBC has the rights to put that on the season 3 collection set when that comes out, then that's that story basically covered. But yes, so yeah, amazing news. And as the announcement says, it will be these episodes will be available on iPlayer for in time for Easter, and I'm sure they will be available physically at some point. We'll probably have to wait until either there's an animation or until the season 3 collection set comes out. So it might be a few years away until they're available physically, but at least for now they'll be on BBC iPlayer. So yeah, just amazing news. So yes, I just wanted to make this video really quick. It's another sort of ad hoc, reaction to an announcement, like my last video, which was reacting to the announcement of a 4K of the TV movie. Um, this announcement, as cool as that announcement was, this announcement, is a little bit more exciting because it's missing episodes coming back. Finally the wait is over for more missing episodes being returned, because we have been in the longest period in between missing episode announcements and discoveries ever. Because the last announcement was 13 years ago this year. Back in 2013, just before the 50th anniversary, it was announced that 9 missing episodes had been found in Nigeria, which were the remaining episodes of The Enemy of the World and all but one of The Web of Fear. And obviously there's a whole story around what happened to episode 3 of The Web of Fear. But it has since been animated and hopefully will turn up at some point so The Web of Fear can be completed. But yeah, it's been 13 years. And really 15 years since they found those, because they were found in 2011. We just didn't hear about it until 2013. So yeah, it's understandable that as time has gone on, it has naturally dried up in terms of how many episodes are being found, and it's over a longer period. But episodes are still turning up, and that's always an amazing feeling. So there will be more episodes out there. Hopefully not in another 13 years, but if it takes another 13 years to get something back, then so be it. It's better than not getting it back at all. But hopefully we can have another discovery in the coming years. But regardless, it's amazing. Just thank you again to Film is Fabulous for their amazing work. And honestly, I know that, these collectors can get a lot of stick sometimes, because it's like, oh, people are like, well, why are you hoarding these episodes? These episodes should be in the public domain. I understand those feelings, but we should be grateful to these collectors for preserving these episodes for decades, and we finally have them and can watch them and experience them. So it's just amazing. I can't wait to watch these episodes. I would like to, do more. I'd like to, do another video about Daleks Masterplan when I've watched the episodes. So yeah, I'll see what I can do for that. So that'll be coming up soon. At time of recording as well, we have the season 21 box set coming imminently. I got a notification yesterday that mine is on the way, so expect an unboxing of that hopefully soon. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just me rambling, really, just my sort of initial sort of reactions and things. Like I say, it's another sort of ad hoc reaction video. So I've kind of thrown this together, but usually I like to spend a bit longer on my videos in terms of editing and things. But yeah, it's more of a ramble again. But different kinds of videos will be coming up on the channel soon, especially relating to Classic Who. So if you're at all interested in that, please consider liking this video. Feel free to leave a comment, let me know how you're feeling about this announcement, what your opinions on the Daleks Masterplan are, etc. And yeah, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's much appreciated. But either way, I'm just really grateful that you've clicked on this video. So thanks again, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye!